Much like a warrior forging their armor in the fires of adversity, our bodies too strengthen when exposed to challenges. Picture your body as a piece of stone in the hand of a sculptor, able to become a masterpiece, waiting to be carved into a living embodiment of strength, vitality, and godlike energy. At Spirit School, we tend to focus on the spiritual side of our journey, because we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. But oftentimes during this experience, we lose the connection between the earth, our human body, and our spiritual body. Do you experience chronic pain, depression, or inflammation? Are you on 10 different kinds of prescription medicine and just want to feel human again? Or better yet, superhuman? Follow us into the golden glow of morning dawn. Close your eyes and feel the refreshing cascade of pure spring water, the breath of life in every inhalation, and the healing touch of earth itself. This isn't just about wellness. This is a symphony of the elements converging to transform you. Let us teach you a few health rituals that can transform your life when you perform them daily with rigorous discipline. Are you ready to feel alive again? The things I'm about to teach you now will return your body to a state where health will feel welcome again. Let us begin. Please sit down, relax. I want to have a light discussion with you. Don't worry. What I meant is a discussion about sunlight. Do you feel down sometimes, low on energy, painful joints and muscles? It might have to do with your wake-up time. Let's be honest, how often do you go outside at first light at dawn and really enjoy the sun? Why first light at dawn? Let me explain. Our biology is wired to first light. It might not always feel like that when your alarm clock goes off, but that has to do with your circadian clock. You can compare your circadian clock to an internal body clock. This clock is influenced by the kind of lifestyle you lead, but also by the season of the year it currently is. But the biggest factor in controlling your internal clock is the light in our environment. First light, or the light of dawn, holds a lot of natural blue light. Now I hear you think, but wasn't blue light in monitors and my telephone? I thought that was bad for me. That's right, but there is a huge difference between your phone and natural blue light. Blue light in nature is always balanced by regenerative red light and other wavelengths. Artificial blue light sets off a chain reaction of negative health effects that result in everything from myopia, short-sightedness, macular degeneration, blindness, to obesity, diabetes, brain degeneration, and hormonal issues in general. Natural blue light, on the other hand, sets off a cascade of hormones and neurotransmitters which make you feel good. It reduces the melatonin in your brain that makes you sleepy, and it helps you produce serotonin. Serotonin is a hormone that plays crucial roles in your body, including influencing learning, memory, happiness, as well as regulating body temperature, sleep, sexual behavior, and hunger. Lack of enough serotonin is thought to play a role in depression, anxiety, mania, and other health conditions. How does it work? Light is made up of a number of wavelengths from blue to red, as well as some invisible ones, infrared light and ultraviolet light. The light at dawn contains a higher percentage of blue light, which is signaling to the body that the day is about to begin. When you catch these first rays, your body will automatically protect itself against any UVA and UVB rays that will peek through the Earth's ozone layer later in the morning. And we also need this UV light. It is critical in making nitric oxide. This is the same magical substance we release when we exercise. Here are some of the magical things it does. It dilates the blood vessels, increases your energy, your memory, and it's anti-aging. UVA light also triggers the production of serotonin and dopamine and releases endorphins along with a small opiate effect. The end result? We feel good. Now let's listen to our dear Dr. Huberman tell us how exactly we should go about a morning light viewing.
I wake up in the morning and I want to reach for my phone. But I know that even if I were to crank up the brightness on that phone screen, it's not bright enough to trigger that cortisol spike and for me to be at my most alert and focused throughout the day and to optimize my sleep at night. So what I do is I get out of bed and I go outside, and if it's a bright, clear day and the sun is low in the sky, or the sun is starting to get overhead, what we call low solar angle, and I know I'm getting outside at the right time. If there's cloud cover and I can't see the sun, I also know I'm doing a good thing, because it turns out, especially on cloudy days, you want to get outside and get as much light energy or photons in your eyes. But let's say it's a very clear day and I can see where the sun is. I do not need to stare directly into the sun. If it's very low in the sky, I might do that because it's not going to be very painful to my eyes. However, if the sun is a little bit brighter and a little bit higher in the sky, sometimes it can be painful to look at. So the way to get this sunlight viewing early in the day is to look toward the sun. If it's too bright to look at directly, well, then don't do that. You just look toward it, but not directly at it. It's absolutely fine to blink. In fact, I encourage you to blink whenever you feel the impulse to blink. Never look at any light, sunlight or otherwise, that's so bright that it's painful to look at, because you can damage your eyes. But for this morning sunlight viewing, it's best to not wear sunglasses. That's right, to not wear sunglasses, at least for this morning sunlight viewing. It is absolutely fine to wear eyeglasses or contact lenses, so-called corrective lenses. In fact, those will serve you well in this practice or this tool, because they will focus the light onto your neural retina and onto those melanopsin intrinsically photosensitive ganglion cells. If your eyeglasses or contact lenses have UV protection, that's okay. There's so many different wavelengths of light coming from the sun, and they are bright enough that they will trigger the mechanisms that you want triggered at this early time of day. So try and get outside, ideally within the first 5 minutes of waking, or maybe it's 15 minutes, but certainly within the first hour after waking. I want to share with you 3 critical things about this tool of morning sunlight viewing. First of all, this is not some woo biology thing. This is grounded in the core of our physiology. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of quality peer-reviewed papers showing that light viewing early in the day is the most powerful stimulus for wakefulness throughout the day, and it has a powerful positive impact on your ability to fall and stay asleep at night. So this is really the foundational power tool for ensuring a great night's sleep and for feeling more awake during the day. Second of all, if you wake up before the sun is out, you can and probably should flip on artificial lights in your internal home environment or apartment or wherever you happen to live, if your goal is to be awake. Right? If you wake up at 4 a.m. and you need to be awake, well, then turn on artificial lights. Once the sun is out, however, once the sun has risen, then you still want to get outside and view sunlight. Some of you will wake up before the sun comes out, and if you're asking whether or not turning on artificial lights can replace sunlight at those hours, unfortunately, the answer is no. Unless you have a very special light, we'll talk about what kind of light. The bright artificial lights in your home environment are not, I repeat, are not going to be sufficiently bright to turn on the cortisol mechanism and the other wake-up mechanisms that you need early in the day. The diabolical twist, however, is that those lights in your home or apartment or even on your phone are bright enough to disrupt your sleep if you look at them too late at night or in the middle of the night. So there's this asymmetry in our retinal, our eye biology, and in our brain's biology, whereby early in the day, right around waking, you need a lot of light, a lot of photons, a lot of light energy. And artificial lights generally just won't accomplish what you need them to accomplish. But at night, even a little bit of artificial light can really mess up your so-called circadian, your 24-hour clocks, and all these mechanisms that we're talking about.
Thank you, Dr. Huberman. Now on to the next thing on our list. But before we go any further, I would like to express my gratitude towards all the loyal Arcane Adventurers who have been in our community and showing their support to Spirit School in the comments. We love to hear from all our viewers, so click like and subscribe, and let's get to know each other. For centuries, humanity embraced the Earth's touch, walking barefoot on soil and grass. However, since the invention of rubber-soled shoes, this ancient connection has been disrupted, isolating us from the Earth's energy. Now, it seems that this has led to all sorts of negative effects on the human body. That is why we will now explore the practice of earthing. rediscovering the transformative power of direct contact with the earth for well-being and vitality. The concept of grounding is based on the idea that direct physical contact with the earth allows the body to absorb free electrons. These electrons bind to the body's protons and thus eliminate the positive charge of the body. These electrons are believed to act as antioxidants, neutralizing free radicals and reducing inflammation in the body. Chronic inflammation is associated with various health issues, and grounding may play a role in mitigating this inflammation. Grounding has been linked to improvements in sleep quality, reducing the time it took to fall asleep and increasing overall sleep duration. Let's take a minute to listen to one of the pioneers in grounding, Clint Ober.
I grew up around Native American people, primarily the Cheyenne and the Crow. I remember coming home one day and we were going to go into one of the kids' teepees with his parents, and the mother said, "Take those shoes off, they'll make you sick." It was just strange why she would say they would make you sick. Well, I wouldn't have had a clue with it. In 1960, we invented synthetic materials. The first thing we did was we put rubber synthetic soles on the shoes. This was the single thing that happened that probably caused the proliferation of inflammation-related health disorders far and above anything else. So that night, I went to the hardware store and I bought a roll of metal duct tape. And I just taped it across the bed. I threw a wire out the window and it had a ground rod outside. I connected to the ground rod on one side and connected to the metal duct tape that I had laid on the bed. So when I laid down on the duct tape, I was like grounded because it was connected to the earth. I woke up the next morning and I thought, holy cow, there's something going on here, because normally for me to go to sleep, I had to take Advil. Found an anesthesiologist in San Diego, and he says, "I don't think there's anything to what you're doing. There's got to be an anomaly here, but I'll entertain you." He says, "I will prove that you're wrong." Yeah, we did the study. It's the first study that I did that was a legitimate study where we had quantifiable data. Then we decided, well, we're going to do a big study now. And we ended up attracting scientists, physicists. When they saw the study, everybody said, well, this is really pretty interesting.
Really interesting indeed. It balances the autonomic nervous system, which regulates involuntary bodily functions, including heart rate, respiratory rate, and digestion. With some studies suggesting that it may shift the nervous system towards a more parasympathetic state, promoting relaxation and reducing stress. Grounding leads to a reduction in cortisol levels, which elevate in response to stress. Lower cortisol levels are associated with improved stress management and a more balanced physiological response to stressors. Grounding positively impacts the immune system, potentially leading to better defense against inflammation, infections, and illnesses. Positive effects on blood viscosity, making it less likely to clot. Improved blood flow and reduced clotting risk contribute to cardiovascular health. Reduction in muscle soreness and promoting faster recovery after exercise. Athletes practicing grounding have reported subjective improvements in recovery times. And best of all, it is completely free. So I suggest you get your shoes off right away. If you do not have an area where you can do so, buy a grounding mat online. They are not free, but neither are they expensive. You can check out the link in the description of the video for more information. Let us discuss the last thing on our list to elevate ourselves to superhuman status. It has to do with the invisible elixir that sustains life on our blue planet. We all know the importance of breathing, but have you ever considered the incredible influence of oxygen on your overall well-being? Beyond mere respiration, oxygen plays a vital role in cellular energy production and detoxification, especially when combined with deliberate cold exposure. it has a powerful effect on the human body. Now I hear you ask, why on earth would I intentionally go sit in an ice bath? Well, I want to let Gary Braca explain that for you.
So I'm a huge fan of cold water plunging, but probably not for the reasons why you think. I also sit on the board of the NFL Alumni Association Athletica as a health services director. There was a time when we used to think that putting athletes in cold water after exercise was good because of its anti-inflammatory effects. We know now that that's only about 15% of the benefit. The majority of the benefit comes from something called a cold shock protein. If you really want to be fascinated, Google cold shock proteins. These are reserve proteins that are in your liver. They're dumped into the bloodstream in an effort to save your life when you put yourself in cold water. They scour the body of free radical oxidation. They increase the rate of protein synthesis, muscle repair. They are free. You get them when you put yourself in cold water. I don't know what the Celsius conversion is, but I use 50 degrees for 3 minutes. Minimum, 6 minutes maximum.
Cold.
Yes. It's actually not that cold. I mean, I see people getting in 37, 38 degree water. There's no evidence that I've read that shows that colder is better. You get a peripheral vasoconstriction, so it forces all the oxygen into the core and up to the brain. And you get an activation of something called brown fat, right? Thermogenesis comes from brown fat. And for the women that are listening, for some reason I seem to ensnare the women when I say this. Remember that the definition of a calorie is a measure of heat, right? I mean, the definition of a calorie is the amount of energy it takes to raise 1 cubic centimeter of water, 1 degree centigrade. So if a calorie is a measure of heat, then this means that when heat's leaving your body, calories are leaving your body. So if there is nothing, no amount of exercise hits cardio, no type of cardiovascular or weight training that comes anywhere close to immersing yourself in cold water in terms of what will strip fat off your body fast. If you want to strip fat off your body, get in cold water 3 to 6 minutes a day.
Well, I thank Gary Braca for those compelling reasons to fill yourself a nice cold bath. He said a lot more interesting things in that interview. I recommend you go look into the diary of that CEO sometime when you are done watching all the videos on Spirit School. And thank you for subscribing and liking this video. Do you want us to dive deeper in the things Gary Braca teaches us? Let us know down in the comments. Now let's talk some more about breathwork. Breathwork has gained a lot of traction in recent years, especially thanks to the father of Western breathwork and cold exposure, Wim Hof. Although he is somewhat controversial of late for the potential dangers associated with his method when performed underwater. There are many benefits to his method that have been proven by science, so make sure you practice these techniques in presence of other people and in a safe environment. That being said, let's take a look at the health benefits of breathwork, enhanced oxygenation of the body and blood through a specific breathing technique that involves deep inhalations followed by controlled exhalations. It improves immune system function by an increased production of white blood cells and a heightened ability to withstand environmental stresses, such as exposure to cold, and so benefiting circulation and overall cardiovascular health. Positive impact on mood by the release of endorphins, contributing to feelings of euphoria and well-being. Let's take some time to hear Wim Hof himself tell us how exactly those breathing exercises work.
It's going to come. Don't do this in a swimming pool. Don't do this in a car. So I suggest you do this in your bed or on the sofa. If you feel really relaxed sitting, that's okay. So what I do is, I'm relaxed. I'm gonna lie down. I got a belly, I got a chest, I got my head. And with the three parts, actually the whole body, not only the lungs are breathing, we are able to manipulate by belly breathing is deeper part of the lungs. The chest is the upper part of the lungs. That is deep breathing. And even within the head, we are able to receive more oxygen in the head, in the brain. It's logical because it's part of your body and oxygen gets in there We all found this out. So belly, chest, head, that's the way it goes, like this. And letting go. Fully in. Letting go. Not fully out, but fully in. Once again. Fully out means there's still more coming out. Don't do that. Just letting go. So, fully in. Then letting go. Once you get this rhythm, you do this 30 times. Your head becomes lightheaded. You become loose in the body. It feels like whoa, tingling in the hands and feet. It's all possible, and it's all okay. Breathe toward it. Intensify those symptoms. Lightheadedness, loose in the body and tingling, make it stronger, because that's your charge. And then you go 30 times, 40 times, it's okay. Fully in, letting go. Don't think in time, don't think in numbers, think in intensity, think in feeling, feel. Follow the flow of your breath. Then at 30, you take them fully in. Let go. You could time it. After the exhalation, let go. You stop breathing. Press the time device. Stopwatch and go and feel. Round number 1, you will be able to stay for 1 minute, 1.5 minutes without air in the lungs. Just round number 1. When you feel the urge to breathe after the exhalation and then staying in, stopping breathing, timing, you take the urge to breathe, okay. You take a breath, hold it, squeeze a little for 10 seconds, 15 seconds to your head, breath hold, stop the timer, and then you let go. That is round number 1. Then we go again, round number 2.
Well, that was certainly interesting, wasn't it? If you have made it this far, Spirit School salutes you. It shows that you have an excellent brain that can focus on something longer than the average person. So you may have what it takes to be a real spiritual scholar. But do you have the discipline to take action on the 4 things we have mentioned in this video? If that is the case, do not waste any time and tell us your progress and experience in the comments. We really like to know how you feel.